What Lonzo thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion will offer my unsolicited views on everything from music, movies, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it. My thoughts unsolicited, nobody cares, and damn it, you're not supposed to care. All right, I am back after a long hiatus. What's up, y'all? And I have a special guest with me, Jake Wade. Son, what is the business?
Yo, it is almost Christmas, and we're getting ready for this holiday and going crazy. That's how I feel right now.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, many happy returns and happy holidays. If you're out there listening, if you believe in a fat white man's gonna come down your chimney and bring you some gifts, then you're a stupid motherfucker. All right. And check out my podcast, The Conundrum of Santa Claus, for more on that.
Right, and Black Pete and all them.
Yeah, all that. Black Pete. Yeah, we talked about that before, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So check out my podcast on The Conundrum of Santa Claus. It's somewhere in my archive, in my library. So check it out. And be sure to subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. If you are a subscriber already, what up? How you been? I'm back, damn it. Yeah, I was gone for a little while because I had some business to attend to. I'm a very busy person, so sometimes I ain't got time to be fooling with y'all. But now I'm back and better than ever, ready to kick this thing right in the nuts. So you ready to do this damn thing, bruh?
Let's do it.
All right. So so we are going to discuss today. A couple of weeks ago, I watched a documentary on Apple TV, the Beastie Boys story. And I've always been a huge fan of the Beastie Boys, and watching this documentary made me even a bigger fan. Just kind of learning from their mouths about their, how they came to be one of the greatest rock hip hop groups of all time. So have you seen the Beastie Boys story?
No, I don't have Apple TV.
Oh, okay.
But I also heard that it was kind of boring and not very insightful.
No, it was not boring whatsoever. I guess if you're not interested in something, it'll be boring. But I was very much engaged and very much interested because I really wanted to find out how these guys came to be who they were. And their story is amazing. Amazing how they came to be one of the most iconic musical acts that ever walked the face of this earth. And it just shows you, man, that life has many different twists and turns, man. You in your lifetime, you're gonna be presented with so many different opportunities to where you can go left or go right, and it depends on which way you go as to which direction your whole life goes in. And these three dudes who came together, they each came to a crossroads in their lives at a very early age. And all three guys made the proper decision, and it set them on a course to where they made history. Simple as that, man. And it is fucking amazing. So if you have a chance to watch the Beastie Boys story, I highly recommend it. It's on Apple TV. It's a different format. It's not a straightforward documentary. They're basically on stage. Mike D and Ad Rock are basically just on stage in front of a live studio audience, just talking. And behind them was a large projector or whatever, and pictures come up, and they're describing as they go. Spike Jonze directed it, by the way. Anyways, and they'll put a photo up on the screen or whatever, right? And they talk about it, and they just kind of reminisce. And and these photos kind of were different points in their lives as their careers grew. And it was just amazing to hear these guys kind of just wax on how they came to be who they were. So if somebody told you that was boring, they're full of shit. So if the person that told you it was boring is out there right now listening, man, fuck you and your mom. You know what the hell you're talking about. This is very, very, very interesting if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're not into that kind of stuff, don't fucking watch it, because it ain't meant for your black ass or white ass or Asian ass or Indian ass or Eskimo ass or who the fuck you are. It ain't shit ain't meant for your ass. What?
Eskimo is not a correct term.
Well, wherever the hell it is, Aleutian, whatever the hell, Inuit there, whatever the fuck you categorize yourself as. If you're not into that kind of shit, don't watch the Beastie Boys story, because that shit is not meant for your punk ass. All right. Mm-hmm. So whoever it was that told you that, kiss my black ass. How about that?
It was a review that I read.
Well, the reviewer who wrote that shit, fuck you and your mama. Okay.
But that's not the reason I didn't watch it. The reason I didn't watch it is because again I don't have Apple TV.
Well, get Apple TV, man, just to watch it.
Mm.
Okay. All right, because it's definitely an amazing story, and these guys have lived amazing lives, man, and it's so refreshing, and it's inspirational. It's inspirational, man. It just makes
Right.
you think about how, because these guys, they weren't rappers. Really, when they started out, they were not rappers. They were just three dudes who just hanging out with their friends, fucking around with music. That's all it was. But they discovered hip. They all were from New York, obviously, whatever. And during the explosion of hip hop in New York during this time, and they organically got drawn into hip hop. Okay, they weren't MCs. All right, they were more into rock music, and just fucking around. They weren't even serious about being in a goddamn band. They were just teenagers fucking around with music. That's all they were. And then like a switch flipped. They met people, started hanging out, going to clubs, got into the hip hop scene, and next thing you know, they're fucking MCs, man. And that shit is fucking beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now, this conversation, this is a conversation we need to have once you've seen the Beastie Boys story. We can talk about it in more detail. It'll be a very interesting conversation that we can have. But for the purpose of today's show, we're going to discuss License to Ill, one of the greatest hip hop albums ever made, and it's the Beastie Boys' debut album. Now, before I get into the information and the backstory of License to Ill, what you gotta say?
About the album.
Yeah, just before we get started, I mean, just before I jump into the minutia of us getting to this review, everything I've said just now. You have a reaction to anything I've said right now? You want to just go ahead and kick into it?
Yeah. So I came into License to Ill late because this album came out at a time when I wasn't really listening to music at all.
November 15th, 1986 is when it came out.
Which is 2 days after my 6th birthday in 1986. So, yeah, I wasn't listening to the Beastie Boys at the time. My first exposure to them was Check Your Head, actually, which to this day is my favorite album of theirs. And, in a way, I feel like this album, as great as it is, pales in comparison to that one. That might be, nostalgia. But, yeah, you go back to the beginnings of what the Beastie Boys originally were. They were a punk rock band. And there was a woman in the band, drummer. So they were not, the configuration you get on this record is not what they originally were, and they had an album before this, at least an EP. And after that, they completely changed into something else. And, like I said, I haven't seen the documentary, but,
All of that is explained by them in the documentary, and it's fascinating. Go ahead.
Yeah. They, just thinking about it, not having seen it and knowing a little bit of how they came up is fascinating because, again, they were not a hip-hop group at first. And they seamlessly transformed into it and became one of the greatest hip-hop groups of all time. So that's very fascinating to see how they started out and to see, the way they actually, on their first actual studio album, came out fully formed. So, fantastic, and can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, because there's a difference between being a rapper and a b-boy. Okay, they were indoctrinated in the hip hop through b-boyism. Okay, so if you're out there listening, you don't know what I'm talking about. Once again, this shit ain't meant for you, and I'm not going to explain b-boyism to you. Look the shit up on your on your own fucking time instead of fucking around with me. But once again, the Beastie Boys were b-boys, hence the term Beastie Boys. Okay, so I'm sure that's not what the name came from, but it's just ironic that it symbolizes a whole lot. But like I said, the documentary, man, is freaking amazing, man. And once again, I highly recommend it. So that being said, we are going to talk about License to Ill. License to Ill is the debut studio album of the Beastie Boys. on Def Jam. I think they were with Def Jam. I think it was released or distributed through Columbia Records, and it is the first rap album to top the Hot 100 Billboard Hot 100 chart. So it's groundbreaking in that in that regard, and it is the fastest selling debut record to date, and was certified diamond um, in 2015 with over 10 million copies shipped, sold, you name it. Okay. All right, now, just kind of get into a little backstory of the album itself. It was produced by Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. And of course, if you know anything about hip hop, you know exactly who these guys are. Once again, I shouldn't have to tell you who Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons are, because if you don't know who they are, why the fuck you listening to me? So, anyways, Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons were it was their brainchild, so to speak. And once again, this particular record itself, it was not their first. It was their first LP, but as you said before, they had an EP that was really hot. Now, my first exposure to the Beastie Boys was actually Crush Groove. They had a brief cameo in Crush Groove, and I think they had a song. Yeah, they had a song on the Crush Groove soundtrack, a song called "She's on It," and I didn't like "She's on It" at all. You know, I was like, "Fuck these motherfuckers! Just some white boys posing, or whatever. I ain't trying to hear this bullshit or whatever." So I really was not into the Beastie Boys during this period when they first came onto the scene. Because like I said, I really didn't like "She's on It." So I really wasn't engaged. And well, as we get into the review, I'll tell you when and how I got into the Beastie Boys, and which song it was that pulled me into uh, into their orbit, where I have been ever since. So, like we do with all our reviews, we'll briefly talk about each song and give us a brief snapshot opinion of each song, and then we'll wrap it all up at the very end in a little brief summation or whatever. And I'm sure we'll digress here and there, talking about shit that is not even related to the Beastie Boys whatsoever. But once again, if you've been listening to my show, and we've done a ton of them, especially me and Jake. So if you've been listening to my show, you know we digress. So if you're not down with all that, once again, why are you here? All right, you ready, man? Let's do this damn thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Now, once again, first of all, before we get started, the album cover is just freaking dope as hell. Just ridiculously dope. What are your thoughts about the album cover?
Yeah, it's very nice and it's highly iconic. It's been copied by many, many people. Just from an artistic standpoint, it's cool. You know, you look at it and it's a plane, right?
Yep. No, it's not a plane, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying you look at it just on the cover, it's a plane, and that just looks pretty cool. But then you see the rest of it and you see what it is. It's a joint. And, if you're into that type of thing, I guess that's cool. But at the same time, it's an interesting idea. And, again, lots of people have been inspired by it and sort of copied it for various reasons. And, it is by far one of the most recognizable albums ever made. So album covers ever made.
It's the joint. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hold on just a second. My glasses are fogging up a little bit, and I can't see, so I have to just wipe my glasses a little bit here because I can't see worth a damn without my glasses. Oh, I can see again. All right, here we go. See, I got so steamed up, man, when we was talking earlier about this person that reviewed the Beastie Boys story and tried to trash it for whatever reason. So that pissed me off, and that's what caused my glasses to get steamed. Anyways.
Understandable.
All right, the first track from License to Ill is Rhyming and Stealing. Now, what song did they I think they sampled Led Zeppelin on this particular song. Was it Led Zeppelin?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it's a sample. Let me see here. Can I? What they sample? Anyways, yeah, I think it's a Led Zeppelin song. I'm pretty sure it's a Led Zeppelin song that they sampled for Rhyming and Stealing. Anyways, Um, the opening, just that opening beat, once again, is very recognizable if you know Led Zeppelin, and it's definitely a Led Zeppelin song. But I can't remember the name of the Led Zeppelin song because I'm a huge Led Zeppelin fan, so I should know that. So I'm embarrassed I don't know the name of that particular song that they sample, but it don't really matter because "Rhyming and Stealing" is the first song on this particular album, and and when I first listened to this album, I didn't buy it myself. One of my best friends when I was in high school, a dude by the name of Kerry Johnson, um, actually had it. And he and I were riding in his car, going somewhere, just hanging out, whatever, right? And we were listening to LL Cool J, and after that record went off, we had a tape or whatever. So after that finished playing whatever, right? He had License to Ill. So he said like, "Hey, I got License to Ill." I'm putting it in. I don't hear that bullshit, man. Beastie Boys, fuck them, whatever. I don't want to hear it. Even though I was into the Beastie Boys a little bit, and I'll tell you why I was into the Beastie Boys at the time, but I wasn't interested in listening to the album because I didn't think the album would be any good because I was still thinking that these guys were just knockoffs. Anyways, so anyway, he puts it in, he puts on the tape, and I hear that beat. I recognize the beat because I know it's Led Zeppelin. So that initially engaged me, and then these guys opened their mouths and they started rhyming, and it sounded nothing like "She's on It." Okay, and or "You Got to Fight for Your Right to Party" because I think "You Got to Fight for Your Right" was out at the time, it was on the radio and everything. So because I didn't like that song either, so I wasn't really, even though I was kind of into them because of another song that I heard, I still wasn't. I wasn't sold on them yet until Rhyme and Stealing started playing. I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? And this is a magnificent song. Well, it's a great introduction to this group, and it lets you know immediately that because if all you had heard before Rhyming and Stealing was "Fight for Your Right to Party," it is totally 180 degrees away from "Fight for Your Right to Party," and that's a magnificent thing. And I love this song. It's a tremendous song, a great opening track. Go.
Yes. So I can't really tell you when I first heard this, because, like I said, my actual introduction to Beastie Boys, where I, felt like I liked them, was on Check Your Head. But I did know of this group. Uh, you know, there's no way I could go all this time without knowing who the Beastie Boys were. But what I knew was "Fight for Your Right," uh, and some of their other rock focused songs. And I thought that's what they were. I was like, I don't like them. Uh, but upon listening to this record, turning it on, I was amazed, much like you, because so I'm not really a Led Zeppelin fan, so I guess I never caught it. But either way, just that opening beat, and then the energy of the entire song is an amazing introduction to this group, and an amazing opening to the album. Um, I like their you're introduced to their kind of call and response style, where three MCs on the mic, and they're not. It's not like some groups later where they do a verse, then the other person does a verse, then another person does a verse. Basically, they're all kind of rhyming together, and there's a lot of energy and synergy in this. And it's kind of a mission statement in a way. You feel with the whole Alibaba and the 40
40
Thieves
Thieves, yeah.
break in the middle. You feel like they kind of have a in a way like a mission in a way. It's hey, this is us, and we're a crew, and we're unlike anything you've ever heard before, and we're you know rhyming and stealing, and that sounds
In a
so
drunken
awesome to
state.
me. In a drunken state,
I'll be rocking my
and
rhymes all the way to Hell's Gate.
and really, like I said, it is kind of a mission statement because that's kind of what you get for the rest of the album.
Yes.
They're not a storytelling group so much. They're mainly just they rhyme about what they like to do, which is mainly uh, hang out, listen to music, rap, dance, and get drunk. And that is what you kind of get from this first song and for the rest of the songs too. But it just really works. So rhyming and stealing to me is in a way I think this might be my favorite song on the album. Just the way it starts and the way it sounds overall is very hard and I love it.
Scale of 1 to 10, what does it get?
Oh, it's a 10.
Yes, definitely a 10. And I'm glad you brought that up as you were talking there because I wanted to touch on something. Um, their call and response to the way that their rhyme style, whereas obviously is not MC each doing a verse. They are
Yeah.
basically sharing the verse. And there's a reason behind that. Because when they first started out, they couldn't write. They really couldn't rap. Okay, they basically would recite other rap lyrics. They would bite a lot. Okay, but they couldn't really write. They because they weren't rappers. So that's why instead of getting a full verse, you'll get 2 lines or 1 line, 1 bar, whatever, from each one because they couldn't really write a full verse for themselves. So it was basically their way of basically uh, pulling the wool over your eyes, so to speak, as b boys because or MCs because at this point they weren't fully formed MCs yet,
Right.
and that style really stuck because it worked so well because they worked so well together. And one of the things I like most about them is that they have 3 distinctive voices as well, and those voices play so well against one another. Now, Mike D and Ad Rock sound alike a little bit, but
Yeah.
MCA's voice is totally different, a whole totally different pitch and everything. He has this gravelly voice that works so well with those other 2 voices. So even though they're sharing these verses, they sharing each verse or whatever, but it's so distinctive because you know who each because they each have a distinctive rhyme style within this verse, and it turns into something organic. I'm thinking that maybe when they first got started out, Rick Rubin, Russell Simmons, like, hey, fuck it, just do it this way, and you guys learn it,
Right.
you know. And that's how it kind of, but it became their trademark. There's, the thing that really set them apart from all other rappers. And it's one of the things I love. One of the things I love the most about the Beastie Boys is that their delivery, man, is just so on point. And on top of that, the lyrical content of rhyming and stealing, it was totally different from what hip hop was at that time, which was mostly boasting.
Yeah.
Where these guys are like you said, they're kind of laying out the blueprint of who they are and what they're going to be. And they're saying, I'm rhyming and stealing because they can't write. You know, I am most ill, and most ill in this b-boy. They're telling you we're b-boys. We're not rappers. So they're basically exposing themselves musically to you, and basically they're telling you, motherfuckers, we don't know what the fuck we're doing, but we like to have fun. We love this genre of music, and we're gonna do it the way we feel most comfortable in doing it. Come on this ride with us, and damn it, I want to ride with them. And you're absolutely right. This song is a fucking 10, absolutely. So,
Indeed.
all right, next. It's the new style. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. When I'm on the mic, the suckers what? Run. Um, this is a perfect follow up to our rhyming and stealing. Because if you listen to the LP, as soon as this song ends, you jump right into the new style. I mean, so you get a split second where rhyming and stealing ends, and then it's on the cool checking, center stage on the mic, and we're putting it on wax. It's the new style. And then you hear MCA, that's is Ad Rock who starts it. Then you got MCA who jumps in, and it just, this song kicks ass from the very beginning, man, and it keeps you engaged. It keeps you engaged. 'Cause I remember as me and Carrie were driving, whatever, right, and we were listening to this stuff, man. We just driving around Warner Robins, Georgia, whatever, right, and we just locked in because this album just grabs a hold of you and it won't let you go. It doesn't give you a second to breathe because it jumps right into the new style, and the new style is just as good as rhyming and stealing. So rhyming and stealing is a 10. The new style is a 10. Go.
The new style is also a 10, and it also maintains, despite being, I'm not sure if you could call it faster or even a little slower. I guess it's faster than Rhyming and Stealing, but it maintains that energy from the first track. You're right; it does seamlessly segue into it. You don't get any kind of respite at all. It's just like, here it is, the new style, and this track has been sampled by so many people because it's so iconic. It has so many iconic lines and just
Kick it over here, baby pop.
that's right. And my favorite part of the song is that part.
Yeah.
And
Cooling on the corner on a hot summer day.
they end up with the call and response, b-boy style, the ho.
Yep.
Everything
Yep.
just sounds like a party.
Yep.
And just so much. I think energy. You're gonna hear me say energy a lot through this entire review here because that's what you get from them. Yeah, they weren't, what you would consider MCs this day and age. But what they were just dudes who just they loved what they were doing, and it feels like you want to be there with them because they're just cool and they're having a good time, and they're like entrenched in this new style, this new genre of music, and what hip hop actually is, like, b-boyism, breaking, DJing, graffiti, rhyming. It's all basically, this is the epitome of it. Just kind of the sound of it. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. And as you were saying at the very end when they do the call and response, how they change the tempo of the song and it turns into this hip hop anthem. And anybody who knows hip hop knows this word for word, you know. And you have to keep something in mind. These dudes are fucking white and Jewish. Okay, they're like white niggas, basically, because basically that's what Jews are, right? White niggas,
Yeah.
So that just makes it all the more endearing, man. Is that these cats, and they're teenagers, like maybe 17, 18, 19 years old or whatever, right? So they're still kids, whatever, who are assimilating themselves into something they have no business fucking with. None. They're outsiders who like became insiders at the drop of a hat. And that just makes it all the more endearing to me. Because by this time, I didn't give a damn if they were white. They could have been, they could have been white, black, Puerto Rican. It didn't matter. They're just good. They're just good. And that takes us into the third song, "She's Crafty." Now, once again, the way this album is laid out, the the new style fades out a little bit, and then it jumps right into, once again, you get a split second, it jumps right into "She's Crafty." And with "She's Crafty," they sampled Van Halen. I think this is "Jamie's Crying," right? I think it's "Jamie's Crying."
I don't know Van Halen that well.
Okay, yeah, they sampled Van Halen. Damn, bro. They sampled Van Halen.
Really, yeah, I'm not, some of the 80s hair rock stuff I was never really into.
Well, yeah, that's Eddie Van. You hear Eddie Van Halen's guitar riff, man, and they jump right into "She's Crafty," and obviously this is a song about a girl that they are enamored with, but they also is like, this bitch is up to some shit, and so we already know, about a girl. I think we've all kind of, met that kind of girl, whatever, right? Where you're totally enthralled by her, but you're like, hold on to your wallet, because this bitch, if you fall asleep, this bitch gonna rob you blind. And that's exactly what happens in this song. I think MC A-Tail brings her home, and when he I guess he passes out, he wakes up, all his shit's gone.
Yeah.
So "She's Crafty" is totally different from Rhyming and Stealing, and also from the new style. This song is more indicative of their wild party boy, frat boy type persona, whatever. And this is of the two songs, of the first three songs, whatever. This is the song that's the widest of those songs or whatever, right? But that don't mean it's not great. I love "She's Crafty." I love "She's Crafty." This song's a 10 as well. So we got 3 10s off the bat, if you're asking me. And I know this song backwards and forwards. I could recite it backwards and forwards, especially the part when they're talking about I think the final verse where they're talking about the girl stealing everything, because He says, "What? I found myself naked in the middle of the floor. She have taken what? She has taken the bed in the chest of drawers, the mirror of the TV, my new guitar cord, the remote control, and my old skateboard." I mean, come on, just magnificent, man. Go.
Yeah, so I have a slightly different opinion of the song. I think, again, I'll say energy. The energy is kind of lost from the first two songs because it's just a different type of song. Um, this is, like you said, a song about a manipulative woman who, they're enthralled by her, but at the same time, she's they say crafty, but really it's more of like not to be trusted. Uh,
Well, he says,
and
she's crafty and she's just my type.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's funny. And one thing that you get from a lot of this album is a lot of humor, and you get a lot of it in this track too. Um, you know, I like it. I don't feel like it's perfect like the previous two songs, but I do think that it works really well, and it's a story. Like I said, a lot of the songs on here are not stories. They're not really known for storytelling, but uh, it is fun to listen to, and you know they just talk about something that's just interesting, and I guess you would say kind of white party boy stuff if you're into that type of thing. But either way, I think it sounds good, and even if you're not into the lyrics, uh, it sounds good, and I can get into it because of that. So you give it a 10.
Yes.
I give it a 7.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Next on the list is Posse in Effect. Now, this I think I look at this song as a bit of a respite because the first three songs are so powerful and they all of them hit hard, but they hit different, but they all hit. Whereas Posse in Effect is uh, it's filler, but it's good filler. And there's nothing wrong with this song. But if you're gonna skip a song, you can skip Posse in Effect. There's no reason to skip it, but it's not as strong as the first three songs. I give it 5 because it's kind of just there. But once again, the first three songs are so powerful that I kind of give Posse in Effect a pass. What do you think?
Um, well, I really, really like the beat to Posse in Effect.
Oh
I
yes,
can listen to it
all the
because the
beats are
beat
great.
is
Yeah.
slapping. Uh, you know, uh, I guess you can call it filler. Filler's not a bad term.
No, it's
You
not.
know, um,
Every song can be a single.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't made to be a hit. It's
No.
just there. It's part of the album and it works. And it doesn't necessarily detract from the album itself if you don't listen to it. But if you do listen to it, you will enjoy it. Um, yeah, it's more Beastie Boys uh, uh, energy again. And I really, again, if you don't listen to the lyrics, listen to the beat because the beat is great. And it's the shortest song. I believe the shortest song on the album.
No, it's not.
So,
It's short,
uh,
but no, it's not the shortest song.
well, it's one of them.
Yeah.
And but it works. And I'll give it a 6.
Okay, fair enough. Next up is Slow Ride. Once again, Slow Ride is filler, but it's good filler because they sampled Foghat. Slow ride, take it easy. So that makes the song indelible because there's one thing about the Beastie Boys, their sampling was always very creative, and same goes here for Slow Ride. I really like it a lot. It's a bit once again it's filler, it's respite, but at the same time it's good filler. I give it a 7. Go.
Yes, I will agree with everything you've said here. It is, and it's kind of slow, but it's groovy. It has a nice little groove, and it has uh, I'm not sure if they did it first, but War, Lowrider.
Yeah.
So it has that going for it.
Yes.
Uh, and yeah, filler. It's kind of a filler song, uh, but it's a good song, and it fits with the rest of the album. If you don't listen to it, you won't miss too much, but you're also gonna enjoy it if you listen to it. I think it's very cool. Um, I gave the last song a six. I give this a six as well.
All right. Next up is Girls. And Girls is the shortest song. It's 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Now, this is the definition of filler. This is
Uh,
just, this is a throwaway song. And nothing wrong with it. You know, it's kind of fun and peppy or whatever. But, I mean, there's nothing redeeming about it. There's nothing that's, you know, if you're going to skip a song, you know, of all the songs to skip, this would be the song to skip. Posse in Effect, once again, I said it's skippable, but once again, you don't lose anything by listening to it. Whereas Girls, this really, you know, this song really don't belong on the album. And so, of all the songs, this is the one that's skippable. I give it a 3.
yeah. So, Girls is just kind of a silly song, and
Very
it's
silly.
not. I don't think it's meant to be taken seriously at all. It's not meant to even sound like the rest of the album. I think it's just something that they had a good time making, and just thought, oh, people will like it because it's funny. And I guess it's funny. Um, you know, if you know anything about the early days of the Beastie Boys, they were kind of known for being a little misogynistic, and
A little.
well, okay, misogynistic. I mean, you get it, and you hear it in this song if you listen to the lyrics. Basically, just saying, you know, they like girls because they cook, they clean, they can have sex with them. Uh, you know, that's what they like about girls, and it's just, you know, it's fun the first two times you listen to it, and after that, you're just like, you know, this is one song that the album could do without. I think. Um, you know, if you listen to it for the first time, it is interesting. Skip it after every other listen. Two, I give it two.
I agree. All right. Enough about that song. Now, next up is Fight for Your Right. Now, this is their big hit, their first big hit, obviously. Um, um, Fight for Your Right is it's a song that if once again if you've never heard anything from the Beastie Boys before and you hear this song, this is the first song of you that you hear from the Beastie Boys, you would your opinion of them would be totally different than what they actually are. I get a feeling that this song is a song that they weren't really invested in, but it's a song that obviously became such a big hit for them, and it really, you know, it was their introduction in the superstardom, in the hip hop superstardom, and everything, and but I think in the Beastie Boys story, I think they actually kind of touched on this. They said that this song was the last song that they did recorded for this album, and there I think Rick Rubin convinced them to do it because they wanted to do a more rock type song or whatever. So
Yeah.
this is something they came up with and did like in a moment's notice. And you can kind of tell by the lyrics and everything that this song really has really nothing really going for it, other than the fact that they knew that white folks would like it, and of course back then, even today, obviously, you know, if you're gonna make it in the music business, white folks gotta like you. If you're gonna have any type of, you know, enduring success, white folks gotta like you. So they knew
Yeah.
they had to have a song that appealed to white folk, versus because at this stage of hip hop, white folks weren't into hip hop like that. It was still a novelty that nobody really respected. So as a white group getting into this genre, you know, this is basically their bridge, you know, into it's the bridge for white folks into their music. And I think that's what this song kind of represents is that, you know, we're doing this because we know we need you guys to be successful, to make money. You know, we know we need you. So here you go. Come on in. You know, this is what we're going to use to lure you into our web. And then once you play the rest of this album, you're like, wait a minute, I got a hip hop album. I thought it was going to be a crazy boy white, you know, frat boy record, and this is actually hip hop. I've been tricked. so,
Yeah.
so I was never a big fan of this song. Like I said, I've never been a big fan of it. I recognize it as a hit, but so I'll give it a 5. But I'm really not engaged with this song at all. So
Yes. This song is like one of their biggest songs ever, is kind of like one of their uh, signature songs, I guess. People, this was one of their biggest hits, their first hits, and if you go on like Spotify, it is one of the most listened to songs that they have on here.
I bet 99.9% of the people that listen to it are white.
Probably, and you know, this is one of the songs I knew from the Beastie Boys before I started listening to them, and I didn't like it, and that's what I thought they were all about. Um, it doesn't really paint a good picture of who they actually are, and certainly, who they continue to be as their career went on, because they delve more to you know real pure hip hop as they continue to go than this style here. You know, it's a nod to uh, their old past, even though they're like their Polywog Stew stuff was real like punk rock stuff, but they're just kind of continuing along on that path, and people who may known them from there, as well as like you said, trying to make sure they have a hold on white listeners. And that video is all about some Animal House type stuff. That's what young white guys probably were like. Yeah, man, I can relate to them on this level.
Dude,
Uh,
bitchin', dude, yeah. Fuck yeah.
yeah, and then like you said, they're completely flummoxed when they actually listen to you know uh, white boys flowing like black guys.
Now
Uh,
that you're on board it, check this shit out.
you know, real like 808 beats and stuff all
Yep,
over it.
yep.
You're not getting these hardcore uh, rock guitars and drums on here, and you know,
Yeah, you're not getting a White Snake album.
right, and um, I think the guitarist from Slayer played on this track, and Slayer, is kind
Yeah,
of a metal punk band.
yeah.
So they were probably trying to grasp a bit of that audience as well. And the rest of the album's not like this. There are guitar riffs all over the album, but this is just like a rock song, and it's just kind of dumb.
Yeah, because there's nothing hip hop about this song.
Yeah, I mean they're rapping in a way, but it's not like a real flow.
No, it's not.
And they're talking about your mom. I don't even know the lyrics of songs. I don't really like it.
Yeah, your parents left home and left you to the house by yourself, and now you're having a party type shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
stuff that
And
white
that was
folks get
it.
into. Trashing the
Right.
house when the parents are gone, because you're not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah.
Try that shit as a black person. Okay, mama leave the house and you throw a party and you trash the house. Shit.
You will die when she comes back.
Exactly.
Um, and I feel like this was kind of like the epitome of the '80s. You know, uh, white boy stuff. I don't like talking about the dichotomy between black and white people, but there is one.
It's there.
And
It exists. It's real, man. It's not imagined.
right,
Hmm.
and this is just kind of a mirror on that. Like you see, hey, that's what this is. They are all white. Okay, here you go. Um, I've talked about it too much. The song's really not that great. I don't mind it. It sounds okay, but it's just not. It ain't my favorite. It's a 4.
But once again, this song is the window into the greatness and the ingenuity that was behind this record, and the ingenuity of Rick Rubin, Russell Simmons, and the Beastie Boys. Because the very next song on this record is also a rock song, "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," but it's totally different.
Yep.
Totally different. You know, and it eases you back into the hip hop. You know, because this is a rock hip hop song, whereas "Fight for Your Right to Party" is a straight rock song where the verses are just delivered in a pseudo rap style, whereas "No Sleep Till Brooklyn" is definitely a hip hop song with a strong rock beat to it, and that is calculated, in my opinion, You know that we throw because you throw fight for your right you fight for your right in the middle of the record, okay, right in the middle because it's song number 7 of 13 tracks, so it is smack dab in the middle, followed by No Sleep Till Brooklyn, which takes you right into the rest of the album, which is hip hop, perfect, and the song itself, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, once again one of the most indelible anthems, a magnificent rock hip hop song. Love this song. I give it a 9. Go.
Yes, yes. This was like you said, it was calculated clearly. Because and they were probably done like on the same day or in the same session. Um,
Oh, by the way,
because
Slayer, the guy from Slayer, his name is Kerry King. He did the
yeah,
guitar riff in this song.
right,
Okay.
right. That's why I say they were probably done in the same session.
Yeah.
Um, so, but it was good because you got him playing on one song, just kind of a rap, kind of a rock song that you're just like, yeah. But yes, what you get next is this got to play on some real hip hop and really provides the backbone of the song and the beat, and their energy is really really high on this one. It reminds me of the first song of Rhyming and Stealing in a way, because it has that kind of energy going on with it, and it just totally works. Like it is, like I said, there are guitar riffs all over the album, but this just really works as um, you have a strong rock edge, but just real b-boy hip hop at the same time, and just it is really perfect. I give it a 10 because there's a reason why this song is so iconic and so well known by everybody, because it's just that good.
Agree, 100%. All right. Now, another thing about No Sleep Till Brooklyn is the music video. I really like the music video. But the thing I like most about the music video is it kind of, once again, it shows their personalities or whatever, right? Now, um, MCA and Ad Rock got no rhythm whatsoever. They can't dance. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but Mike D is doing the wop. Okay, so so where do I see this video, man? I just there's a couple of shots where Mike D is doing the wop, and Mike D can dance. So whenever you see the Beastie Boys perform or whatever, right? Mike D is the one that's actually doing the dancing. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah,
Whereas,
well, Mike D is, I am known to do the WAP, also known for the Flintstone flop.
yeah,
So, uh, yeah, he's. They all like to dance, but he's the one like
he
who
has
kind of,
rhythm.
yeah,
Cause he's a drummer. He's the drummer in the group, so obviously he has rhythm. He knows how to keep time on the downbeat. You see what I'm saying?
right,
So
right,
it makes sense that the drummer in the group would also be the one that can dance. So it makes sense.
right.
Whereas I think MCA plays the bass and Ad Rock plays lead. So,
Uh-huh.
and you can tell by where they dance what instrument they play. So I always find that kind of unique that like I said in the video, Mike D is doing the wop, and he's doing the wop like freaking perfectly. so
Mm-hmm.
so if you've never seen the video, check it out. And like I said, it's like just a brief like 2 second shot, a couple of 2 second shots, whatever, of Mike D doing the wop. So check that out. Mike Diamond, my favorite of the three. All right,
Is he?
yeah, Mike D is my favorite. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah,
I go back and forth. You know, I really think MCA was the MC of the group. Like
yes,
he was,
yes.
he was the best out of all of them. So he was kind of my favorite. But I like.
No. I,
Huh?
okay, go ahead. I'm gonna break something down for you, but go ahead.
I mean, I like Ad Rock
Mm-hmm.
because I like his personality,
Mm-hmm.
and he just seemed to be like the most carefree of them all.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like Ad Rock, but I like Mike D too. I think he's cool. Um, I think one of the things I like most about Ad Rock is that he's known for kind of injecting a little bit of quote unquote consciousness into his verses, as well as whereas you don't really get that so much out of Mike D. But I don't know. They all all have strengths, and like I said, I go back and forth between which one I like the most.
Okay, I'm gonna drop something on you now. And I'm gonna see if you're gonna agree with me. Okay, because I'm feeling you. I'm feeling your flow on this. Right now, Ad Rock he's the most fun of the three. I think
Yeah.
he's the personality. He's the most charismatic of the three. All right. Um, MCA he has the perfect he has the flow. He has the best hip hop voice. He has the best delivery of the three MCs. But check me on this. Mike D is the lyricist though. Mike D is the b-boy of the group. Mike D is the one of the three. Of the three, Mike D is the one who loves hip hop the most. I think Mike D is the one. He's the glue that holds the hip hop together. Whereas Ad Rock, I think Ad Rock is more hard rock, hence the term Ad Rock, Adam Rock, Ad Rock. Whereas MCA, he plays the bass, so he's the underbelly of their style. He's the more because you think about if you think about it, like in a rock group, who's usually the coolest guy in the group? The guy that plays the bass, right? Yeah, and that's MCA. And their personality is so distinct. Whereas the drummer is the person who's really when you look at a band or whatever, usually the drummer is the one who's really into music. He's the one who's into the minutia of the music. So I think in the Beastie Boys, in my opinion, if you listen to their verses, usually Mike D's verses are the most are the most hip hop of the verses, whereas MCA's verses are the most lyrical, and Ad Rock stuff is like so he has that consciousness. He tries to go a little bit deeper, whatever, but he's basically scratching the surface. Whereas I think MCA is if you were to segment these guys and say I want to listen to lyricism and flow, I'm gonna listen to MCA. If I want hip hop purity, I'm listening to Mike D. Okay, but if I want all that other stuff, I'm listening to Ad Rock. You feel me? Am I
Yeah.
off base here?
No, I think you're right. I didn't. I'm not disputing any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think when it comes to when I think about hip hop, my favorite thing is the lyricism
Mm-hmm.
and flow. I like to listen to what the rapper says and how he says it. The delivery as well as the actual content of his verses. You're right. Mike D does have just kind of the real hip hop love and affection that you can definitely hear in his verses. You're right about that. But I guess I give MCA the crown, I guess, because he is the best with it. His delivery and his lyricism is the best. He is the best MC in the group.
So what now? I missed the last part.
He's the best MC in the group.
Who?
Like he's MCA.
Okay.
He's the actual mic rocker in my opinion.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's why he's my favorite.
Okay.
That's why I say he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you're saying about Mike D is right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disputing that at all. But all three of them have their own strengths, and they work better together than they do separately.
Yes, absolutely. But like I said, so we're on the same accord here. We're on the same accord
Yeah,
here.
I'm not disputing anything you're saying at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Okay. Because once again, if you're out there listening, folks out there listening, whatever, like I said before, if you distinctively get into each of the minutia of each song and how it's delivered by each of the MCs, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Obviously, like I said, when it comes to MCA, he has the most distinctive voice because it's totally different than Mike D and because sometimes you can kind of get Mike D and Ad Rock kind of mixed up,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not really paying attention. But I've listened to them so much, I know that I know their differences and the nuances of what they're saying or whatever. But yeah, but the most difficult or flow the most flow what's the word I'm looking for, um, the songs that need flow, usually MCA handles that chore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so because he says it in well, what you want. He says, well, can I flow like a mudslide? Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Whereas, so if are you familiar with Root Down?
Yes.
The lyrics of Root Down.
I don't think I can like recite them right here on command, but yes.
Okay, because I think in Mike D's first verse in Root Down, he says, "I'm talking root down. I put my boot down. If you want to battle me, I'm putting loot down. I said root down. Time to scoop down. I'm stepping to the mic and my goose down." That's hip hop.
Yeah.
Okay, most people don't know what a fucking goose down is. You know what I mean? So just that verse in itself that describes Mike D to a T, and that's why I say he's the most hip hop of the three. Whereas, like I said, MCA is the most flow respondent of the group. So I think we've done that to death, but I want to make sure that I got that point across as well. So
Right.
that being said, that takes us into the next song, which is one of the greatest hip hop songs in the history of hip hop, Paul Revere. Now, um, here's a little story I got to tell about three bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with what? Ad Rock, MCA, and me, Mike D. Damn it. Now, this is one of the most original hip hop songs you'll ever hear in your lifetime. Because for one, and its placement on this record once again, the song placement is so important when it comes to an LP. If you don't know music, then they don't mean anything to you. But song placement is very important, very important. And this song follows up "No Sleep Till Brooklyn," and this beat once again one of the most indelible and one of the most sampled beats of all time. And this song is the most visual song of all the songs that are on this record, and it's in the subject matter, because Paul Revere is the name of the horse, right? If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. Yeah, it's the name of the horse.
Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, there, it has a like a old west feeling to it or whatever, right? You know, riding on a horse named Paul Revere. It's me and my horsey in a quart of beer. So it's a hip hop song that's not a hip hop song. It's a story that's delivered, you know, is that's delivered, over a hip hop beat. And it is so fresh and so original. You can listen to this song today and you'll think it was made yesterday. Because this song is timeless. It does not feel dated. And I think maybe a big part of that is because of the beat itself.
Yes.
Yes. And this song is absolutely, positively perfect. Perfect. It's a 10 plus. Go.
Yeah. So I said it earlier in the review that the Beastie Boys are not known for storytelling. They're a call and response group, and they just kind of they talk about just what they're about. Again, fun for the most part. But Paul Revere is a story, and it is a fun story, and it's exciting, and it's very, like you said, it's very visual. You can see essentially everything they're talking about. I like the fact that yeah, it's like a western, and there's sort of, to me it reminds me of like a movie or like a play or something, and they're kind of on an adventure in a way, and they're sort of against each other because they're 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 basically at odds with each other. There's a lot of gun talk in a way, or join up with me or you die type stuff, and I love it. Um, but my favorite, so I love the lyrics, I love the story, but my favorite thing about this song is if you don't listen to the words, listen to that beat, listen to the 808 beat,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
and
whoa.
the fact that it uses the reverse hi hat
Yep.
with such a great effect. Man, you don't really have to listen to the lyrics if you don't want to, because you're going to be in like a trance. This is real hardcore hip hop on this record. Like, um, this is infinitely replayable, and it's one of their most well known songs as well, and for good reason, because it's just masterful. Um,
Who did this beat? Did Jam Master Jay do this beat? Or did who did it?
uh, 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 hmm, uh,
I think I heard somewhere that Jam Master Jay did it, but I need to find that out.
um,
Cause yeah, Jam Master Jay was doing a lot of the beats back then, for everybody.
yeah,
So
yeah. Actually, I think it was DMC.
it was DMC.
I
Okay.
think so.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Um, I'm looking now. Um,
It wasn't Run that did it. DJ Run.
well, they both worked on it,
Uh huh.
so yeah. I
It
don't
was
think
a
you.
collaborative thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way,
Mm-hmm.
it works. It works. They did a great job. Um, and yeah, this is like the gem of the album.
Yes, it is.
Uh, so you gave it a 10 plus. Yeah, I give it a 10 plus. Specifically a 12.
Okay, I give it a 13.
There you go.
One of the greatest hip hop songs ever, ever.
Yeah.
So when they do lists, and I know we've done a couple lists or whatever, right? But it never shows up on lists, but it should.
Well, the thing about it is, on lists you don't really see a lot about Beastie Boys. When these backpackers or whatever do these lists, they don't really talk about Beastie Boys.
But
Why?
see,
Because
but the Beastie Boys got mad respect, man, mad respect. I mean,
well, yeah,
they are definitely accepted members of the hip hop community. So
yeah. But the thing about it is, there's still lots of people who see them as being, oh yeah, there's gimmicky rap rock group. And no, that's not what they are.
Mhm.
And that's not what they've ever been. But there are people to this day, if you talk to them about the Beastie Boys, that's what they will say. And actually, I know people who don't like hip hop at all who love Beastie Boys. And it blows my mind that they do. But the thing about it is, because they're white, they're not seen as being a hip hop group. Uh, I, many years, I've just never really understood how anybody could say, yeah, I love Beastie Boys, but I don't like rap. What? But I hear it all the time.
yeah, I mean, the Beastie Boys, they are hip hop. I mean,
Yeah.
you can come up to Ad Rock and be like, hey, y'all a rock band, get punched in the mouth. What, motherfucker?
Right.
I'm a rapper. Shit, the fuck you?
Right.
Yeah,
They've not done
what you
one
heard.
straight up rock album.
No, they have
You
not.
know, so
But
and
if,
of course,
but if all you know is Sabotage, you think, oh shit, this is a heavy metal group. Nah, they ain't.
yeah,
Listen to the rest of Ill Communication and tell me that's a rock group. Come on, man, get the fuck out of here.
right. And what I liked about Ill Communication
Mm-hmm.
is the fact they had Sabotage as that single there, and that was their big single from the album.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next single after that was Sure Shot, pure hip hop right there.
Yes,
So they let this is just not that's not us. It's part of our style, but we're not a rock group. And listen to like on Check Your Head. Listen to So What You Want. That's it sounds like a rock song, but that's pure hardcore hip hop.
yes, and one of their most indelible songs that, especially people in the hip hop community, man, everybody knows what you want. I mean, everybody knows it. Anybody who's
And
deep into hip hop knows it for sure.
and there was even a Cypress Hill remix, and that's it goes even more into it.
So
So
what you want?
it's awesome. So yeah. Like I said, I don't get how people discount them from being pure hip hop, like actually part of the culture. Like these guys are some of the innovators of the craft.
Absolute innovators. Absolute. Yeah, you nailed it right there. They're definitely innovators, and they are on the Mount Rushmore of hip hop.
Yes.
And by far the greatest white act ever in hip hop. And
Ever.
if you're out there listening to Eminem, ever,
Ever.
ever.
And Eminem's had more success than the Beastie Boys, unfortunately. But you ever notice this though? I was talking to somebody about this the other day. So this album was the first rap album to chart on the Billboard charts.
Mm-hmm. Number
Why is
one.
that? Yeah, why is that? Because they're white.
Yes.
And then who else uh, actually achieves the same feats? Eminem. Why? Because he's white.
Vanilla
And he's
Ice.
good. Huh?
Vanilla Ice.
Well, I guess you can say Vanilla Ice, I guess.
He
Because he's
came. He
white,
came
yeah.
before Eminem, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But, I guess there was some novelty in seeing uh, white people rhyming like black people. But it's just like, why do it have to be that way?
I mean, because
Why do you
because that's why in 1987, after this record, was a huge hit, next came up was the White Boys are running this show. The White Boys are running this show, produced by Marley Marl. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they tried to recapture this. You know what I mean?
didn't work?
Yeah, what was the name of? God damn it! What was the name of Marley Marl's crew? That whole crew. What was the name? Damn it!
Juice Crew?
Juice Crew. Yeah, Juice Crew tried to
Yeah.
jump in there, and tap into that same consciousness. But see, and there's a difference there, like between the White Boys and between the Beastie Boys, right there, man. Is that the Beastie Boys were organic. These are guys, like I said before, at the opening of the show, whatever, right? These are dudes who organically got addicted to hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the White Boys are just three cats out of South Carolina trying to get money and trying to capitalize. These are three Republicans trying to capitalize on something that can make them money. That's why they didn't
Yeah.
fucking last because you can see right through that shit.
Yeah.
And just because you got the Juice Crew behind you and you got Marley Marl producing your singles, whatever, right? That nah. You can't slap lipstick on a horse, you know what I'm saying, and call it a pony. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't. And that's proof of it right there. Because see, the black listeners, especially when it comes to hip hop, black listeners are very discerning. You cannot trick us with that bullshit. You can trick white folk. You can trick them with fight for your right to party and give them to thinking that this is gonna be a frat boy, heavy metal record. Then they pop it in. Oh shit! I don't fucked around about a hip hop album.
Why this, dude?
Exactly, man. Exactly. We're not gullible. We don't fall for that bullshit. Whereas with white audiences or whatever, right? Shit. If it sounds good, have fun with it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
That
the main
bullshit.
thing I think when it comes to that type of thinking, with these white groups that achieved more success than some of the black groups, it is white people are proud that they finally got somebody to champion, and it's just like, why couldn't you champion our guys though? Like, hip hop is a black art, seriously. So why is it that you wouldn't want to champion us? Why do you have to have the white champion? Eminem, dude, he's the greatest hip hop, the greatest rapper of all time.
Great white hope, man.
And it's just,
Great white hope.
it's disappointing. I'm the first person to tell you, Eminem's a great MC, but is he the best to ever do it? No. And
Well, because Eminem's not a fraud. Because once again, us as black audiences, we're discerning. We know real, and we see real. Especially when it comes to hip hop, man. You can't you cannot trick a true hip hop head. You cannot.
uh-huh.
It's impossible. So stop fucking trying. All right. So if you're a white kid out right now in the basement messing around with beats, trying to get paid, because you need to go, you need to pay for your tuition at Harvard. Stop trying. Okay.
Yeah.
You can trick your friends, but you can't trick us. You know what
It's easy to do it these days in the trap music days.
I mean? Paul Wall. Okay, so
Wow.
yeah, so we're getting off track here, but I think our point it has been made. You think?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're out there listening, point made. All right. You got anything else to say about Paul Revere before we move on?
No.
All right. Now, I said earlier there was a particular song that if I had never heard this song, I probably never been a Beastie Boys fan. And this is the next song. Hold It Now, Hit It. This is the song that made me listen, want to hear more from the Beastie Boys. I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing the first time I heard it. I was with my friend Kerry Johnson and my friend Lance Sibley. We're at Kerry Johnson's house. We're in the driveway, and CJ has music playing, and he has the radio on. WIBB played "Hold It Now, Hit It," and we're standing around talking or whatever, right? Got the radio up. We're just shooting the breeze or whatever, right? And you hear that opening, that opening lick. Hold it now, and you got the whistle, and then Yo Leroy, and then it goes right into the song, and I was like, what in the hell is that, and who is that? I didn't know who it was. Okay, I didn't know who it was. So, I think after the song played or whatever, right? It was like it's the Beastie Boys. I'm like, that's the Beastie Boys? Really? Really? Because Hold It Now, Hit It is so hip hop. It is the DNA of this song is just pure hip hop. Pure hip hop. You know what I mean? If you cut this song wide open, nothing but hip hop pours out. There's no pretension about this motherfucking song. It's tremendous. Once again, right now, okay, Rhyming and Stealing, New Style, Paul Revere, Hold It Now, Hit It. You got four perfect songs right there on this album.
Till Brooklyn.
And, oh yeah, and No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So you got five perfect songs on this record, and She's Crafty is not far behind that. And Hold It Now, Hit It is, were it not for that song, I probably never would have become a Beastie Boys fan because this song is absolute, pure, unadulterated hip hop. Go.
I wish I had a story to tell about it. Um, I wasn't quote unquote around. I was, but I wasn't around. I wasn't in it when this came out, and when you heard it, certainly. Um, but all I can say is that I agree with what you have said. It is a pure b-boy hip hop song, and it's fun. It's really fun. And I love the samples and just the kind of the
PD the poppin' eater all the time.
Mm-hmm. I love the structure of it, and just a lot. Like I said, this whole album has been sampled by many people, and this song is one of them.
Get down, Mike D, and it ain't no hassle.
Love it, love it. White Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very iconic song. People know it, people love it, and for good reason, because this song is one of their top most pure hip hop from back in the day songs.
Hip hop, body rockin', doing the do, beer drinking, breath stinking, sniffing glue.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. So I'll give it a 10.
I'm a killer at large, and I'm on the loose. I come from Brooklyn because that's where I'm from. Oh my God, that is so hip hop, dog. Sweet Jesus, man.
You could hear like Curtis Blow saying it.
Yes, exactly. You can hear any black hip hop group doing this song and not miss. And this song still hit as hard as it hit with the Beastie Boys, man. And this is a song that really made me regret not living in New York, not growing. Why did I have to be born and raised in Warner Robins?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm kind of disappointed, and I'm mad at my mama for not living in New York. Because my dad's from Brooklyn. I don't know if you know that or not.
I don't know if I knew that, but it's not like we don't have New York roots.
Yeah, we got New York roots and everything.
She lives there, so
yeah.
Why couldn't she have stayed there?
Yeah, and like I said, I think if because my grandma lived in Bed-Stuy, on my dad's side. Anyways, I firmly believe that if I would have been in that scene, I probably would have been I definitely would have been a hip hop artist for certain.
Yeah.
For certain. Now how successful I would have been, I don't know. But I would have loved to have been in that environment. And a part of that environment. and right there at the roots of the hip hop explosion. Because I can just imagine how it was, growing up and living in that area. Obviously I know, New York in the 1980s, boy, good damn, goddamn. You had, there was two things going to happen to you. You're going to either survive and be a hip hop head, or be a hip hop head and get your head blown off. You'll find your bodies somewhere in Long Island.
And you may have been the victim of a serial killer.
Yeah, Son of Sam. Yeah, just something bad probably would happen to you. Either you're gonna be successful and a respected member of the hip hop community, or you're gonna be Big L.
Big L.
Shit.
That was many years later, but still.
Yeah, I'm just saying. It was so volatile back then, huh?
You might end up being a cocaine addict.
That too. Cause I remember one time I went to New York. I was with my homeboy Chris Richardson, right there listening. Hey Chris, what's up? And we were in Queens. Yeah, we were in Queens. And so he's kind of, because Chris he lived in Long Island, but he was from Brownsville. So anyway, Brownsville, the home of the brave, putting in work in the street like a slave. And what was I about to say? Anyways, so Chris is like showing me around or whatever, right? You know how like a tour guide say, well, this is where such happened. Chris was like, this is where Freaky Tah got shot. It's like, this is where Jam Master Jay got shot. I was like,
so sad.
This is where Big L got shot. I was like, oh,
yeah. So many people.
Exactly, man. Man. So, but that's hip hop, man. That's hip hop. It's life or death, man.
Yeah. But I feel the same way, actually. I've often thought, man, I would have loved to have been in New York like during the formation of hip hop.
Oh my God.
I would have loved it.
Yes.
And I feel the same way about punk rock in New York too, but hip hop the most. Like just to have been in the scene. Like I mention punk a lot because hip hop and punk they kind of overlapped back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So to be there in both of those scenes, wow! I think I really would have loved it. Just being somebody who came much later and in Warner Robins, Georgia,
which is not a hotbed of hip hop activity
at all.
all we got to show for hip hop is Waka Flocka Flame.
And Rehab.
And Rehab. Well, yeah. We're more of a rock group, but okay. Yeah. Hey, and if Danny up there listening, Danny Boone, my homeboy, what's up? Rehab. Yes.
But
she got a body like ooh.
And also Pastor Troy. So there you go.
Pastor Troy's not from Warner Robins, is he?
I don't think so.
He's from Middle Georgia. I think he's like from Jones County or someplace.
I remember when he first came out, he sure was playing a lot Warner Robins.
Yeah, I don't think he's from Warner Robins. He's from Middle Georgia, but I don't think he's from Warner Robins. I think Walker's is the only one that made it big that's from Warner Robins, I think.
Well, we can claim him.
Why?
That's
I got a Pastor Troy story to tell you one day. I'm not going to tell it tonight, but there's a Pastor Troy story that I need to tell at some point that happened deep in the bowels of backwoods Georgia.
Huh.
Yeah, me and Pastor Troy. So, all right, go ahead.
So, yeah.
Pastor Troy, I'll say this much. Pastor Troy would never forget me. I made sure of that. I saw to it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm very interested in that.
No, you're not, but go ahead.
But as I said, you wouldn't think that I would be so in hip-hop as I am now, from where I'm from. But
I come from Brooklyn because that's where I'm from.
Yeah, but I don't come from Brooklyn. But if I did, man, I can imagine like what a different person I would have been.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I probably would have been an MC.
Definitely.
So, yeah. Just the way I love it today is I just can't imagine how much more I would love it if I was there during the formation of it.
Yeah, because once I left home and was able to travel and had money to kind of do stuff and everything, I went to New York as much as I possibly could, just to kind of get a feel for the, for the vibe and everything, man. And so yeah, it's in my DNA because that's where my dad's from. But yeah, that's one of the things I regret. So Doris T, if out there listening, I'm shaming you for not moving us to New York.
uh, and to this day, I've not been to New York, and
Oh, you haven't? Man, you need to go.
no, I
Well,
haven't. But
it's different now anyway, man. Now
yeah,
New
yeah,
York is all white and shit. You know, it's all
oh
you
yeah,
know. You go to Queens and shit, or you go to Brooklyn and Harlem. It's nothing but white folk, man.
gentrification.
Yeah, yeah. It ain't the
But
same. It ain't the same.
but I think if I had gone in like '92 to '95, oh God,
Hmm.
I would have loved to travel in that era too, during what I consider the golden age. You
Shout out
know,
to Waldy's Pizza, 72nd on 72nd. By the way, best pizza in New York if it's still there. Whenever I go, I always go to Waldy's. So this show is sponsored by Waldy's. In Manhattan. This is in Manhattan though.
well, I'm okay with that because pizza is fantastic.
Yes, yes. All right, so we're totally off subject here. This is not a New York conversation, but anyways. All right,
Mm.
next up is Brass Monkey, that funky monkey. Brass Monkey follows Holding Out Hit It, and once again, Brass Monkey is an indelible song. There was a dance called Brass Monkey, and also there was a drink called Brass Monkey. It was did you know Brass Monkey was a drink, by the way?
Yeah, I mean
Okay.
the song's about the drink.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of like Alizé, but it hit. I think it hit a little bit. It didn't hit as hard as Alizé, but but yeah, Brass Monkey was a drink, and also Brass Monkey was a dance, and that's all we're talking about is just getting high on Brass Monkey. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's an indelible Beastie Boys hit song. So, I give it an 8. Go.
yeah. I don't care much for the content of it because I don't really care about getting drunk. That's not part of my life. But I can't deny that it sounds really good. Like I listen
That
to it
beat,
because
dog. That beat.
yeah,
It sampled a
that
lot. Yeah.
and the horn and everything.
Yes.
Um, I can listen to this song endlessly. Like I said, I don't care about the content, but it just sounds so good. Um, and this is one of their more popular songs, one of the more well-known songs.
Yes.
Um, uh, I like it a lot. Uh, you won't catch me, extolling the virtues of Brass Monkey the drink or the dance, but this song is great. I am into it, and I give it an 8.
Yeah, and the dance to Brass Monkey is kind of like the WAP. It's like a variation of the WAP.
Mm, makes sense.
All right, next up is Slow and Low. That is the tempo.
Yeah.
Once again, another indelible Beastie Boys song that everybody knows just from that hook in itself. Their hooks are really indelible, and Slow and Low is no different than that. Once again, it's a slower tempo, but it's pure hip hop, and this song gets a 9. Go.
Call and response. Call and
Yep,
response.
yep.
That is the backbone of the song. In fact, that's kind of the majority of it, but it sure does work. And so many people who have done it have copied it and sampled it, and used Slow and Low as their chorus in their song. Because I mean, you can't really top it. They created something that is just kind of part of the DNA of this art. And Slow and Low is one of those songs that you hear it, you know it, and you may not even know just in general Beastie Boys because I said so many people have used it, but of course you know the voice. Everybody knows, you know, who's actually saying that, whether it's a sample or not. But it's everywhere. It's really popular, and again for good reason, just because it is so well done and just so part of what hip hop is all about. Um, I really love this track too. What did you give it? Did you give it 10?
No, give it a 9.
I give it a 10.
I have no argument there. No argument whatsoever. You know why? You know why?
Why?
What's the time? I say, what's the time?
Yeah.
Because the last song on this record is a 10. What's the time? It's time to get ill.
Yes.
Once again, another call and response and another indelible beat, another indelible hook, indelible rhyme flow. This song is like a hybrid of Hold It Now Hit It and this is just just a culmination of one of the greatest hip hop albums ever. It's the bow on the that neatly ties everything up. Great song, perfect song, nothing wrong with it. I give it a 10. Go.
The sampling, the scratching, the whole structure of the song. Yeah, this is it is kind of a culmination of everything that came before it. Perfect way to end this record, and you know, it's just I have a hard time even describing it or really having anything to say. It's just it is ill. That is what it is. Uh, they did so well in closing this record. I wish I knew like when they made it, like if they made it to be the last song on the album, because it works so well. I can't imagine it going anywhere else on the record. Um, like this is just like the like I said the bow on the record. Um, it starts off perfectly. The album starts off perfectly and it ends perfectly. This is a 10 at the end, and there's not much more I can say about it.
Agree. Agree. So there you have it. Beastie Boys, License to Ill, one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. There are and as many as 7 songs on this record that are 10 or better. Out of 13 songs, more than 50% of the album are masterpieces. And like I said, the only song on here that that I could possibly say, screw it, is Girls.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 12 out of the 13 songs have redeeming quality, some redeeming quality, you know, good, great, masterpiece. That is saying a lot, especially during this era where most hip hop records, if you think about it, you're probably getting 2 or 3 good songs. Rest of it just bullshit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, because truth be told, you know, hip hop artists back in the '80s really, they were good for once again out of an album, they were usually good for maybe 2 or 3 good songs, if that, if you're lucky. There are some out there, some artists out there, obviously, who bucked that trend, like LL Cool J and Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane, Rakim. But there are a lot of acts out there, who just couldn't sustain it for whatever reason. So, so for a record that came out, back then in 86, 85, 86, in that time frame or whatever, to be that indelible and have that much quality to it, that says a lot about the artist and about the production team.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
Uh, License to Ill is a historic album. It is an album that really succeeds on the merits of the people who made it, like the actual personnel on the record. The minds that came together. These 3 friends who they're friends. Like you can't really deny that this is not a manufactured group. These are actual guys who like being around each other and they love the art and they're not doing anything strictly for money. They're doing it because they love it. And then you have Rick Rubin and then Russell Simmons and of course Run DMC on it. It's just a perfect storm of people working on this record. And there's a reason why this album is considered one of the greatest albums of all time because it really is, and it really is a testament to the potential that this group had at the time, and really I don't think they faltered too much throughout their career. So
Well,
yeah,
that being said, you're off base a little bit, and
a little bit.
there's a deep dark underbelly to the Beastie Boys story and to this record. And if you watch the documentary Beastie Boys story, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm,
So I'm going to clue you in a little bit, and this is for the folks out there listening who are never going to bother watching the Beastie Boys story because they don't care. But I'm going to tell you anyway. They made no money from this record. They only made their money from gigs, and by the time they went on tour, they went on a long tour to support this record. And by the end of the tour, they were so sick of it, they didn't want to do it anymore. And Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, Def Jam, basically were like forcing them to perform to the point where MCA is like, "Fuck it, I quit." So MCA left the group. I don't know if you knew that or
Oh,
not.
no, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
MCA actually left the group, and they couldn't finish the tour. Um, and once again, this is a age old tale when it comes to hip hop. They made no money. Well, just the music industry in general sold 10 million records, and Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin got all the money. And basically, obviously, they obviously recoupment and things of that nature. They wound up in the hole when it came to this particular record, and they had a falling out with Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons because this is the only Def Jam record. They actually left the label. So I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but they actually left the label, and like I said, MCA left the group. So because there was a long hiatus in between License to Ill and Paul's Boutique. 'Cause I think Paul's Boutique came out in '89, I believe. So
Yeah.
about 3 years later, and that is why it took so long for Paul's Boutique to come out. And they were signed to Capitol Records when Paul's Boutique came out, and they thought that because of course Paul, we'll talk about Paul's Boutique at a different time, but anyway, Paul's Boutique is one of the most innovative hip hop records of all time, and it's highly recognized as a hip hop classic. But the album was a flop,
Yeah.
and the Beastie Boys were flat broke, um, and really with no prospects because the album was not heavily promoted by Capitol. Nobody's really fucking with them by that time. By '89, nobody's really fucking with them. They were basically one hit wonders, hip hop outcasts, so to speak. So, Ad Rock moved to L.A. and I don't know if you noticed, now he starred in a movie called Lost
No.
Angels. I mean, I went to see that movie with a friend of mine, Ursula. One of my best friends back in the late '80s, a girl named Ursula Handy. So Ursula, if you're out there listening, how you doing? Love you. Me and she and I went to the movies, like a late night movie in San Antonio, like at midnight or whatever. We watched this movie called Lost Angels, starring Ad Rock, and it wasn't very good. He even said himself the movie fucking sucked. But anyways, that's kind of where they were at that time. They were out there just floating broke, and at that time I think Ad Rock was like damn near homeless. He was driving like an old beat up car, and Mike D was kind of just aimlessly doing nothing, and same thing with MCA. So they contacted MCA because MCA stayed in New York. Mike D and Ad Rock went to L.A., went to California. They they convinced MCA to come out to California and convinced him to rejoin the group and start making music again. And that gave us Check Your Head, and the rest is history from there. So, and to hear them tell that story is just amazing. Like I said, that's why one of the reasons why I keep talking about the Beastie Boys story, because I didn't even know that. I knew that they had some issues, and obviously I know that Paul's Boutique flopped. I know that they obviously they never associated with Def Jam after that,
Yeah.
but I never knew the reasoning behind that. They freaking hate Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons for what they did to him. So uh, if for no other reason, watch the Beastie Boys story. And once again, when I watched it, man, it was a few months ago that I watched it. It was late at night. It was maybe like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to put this thing on," and I was enthralled by it. It was just so deep. Listening to these guys talk about, you know, their lives in hip hop and how they came to be who they were, and how they all evolved as people, as human beings, um, and became, you know, rock, hip hop, music legends. So that being said, I don't know where I'm going with this, but that being said, I'll let you chime in now.
Oh, I knew some of that because I mean, clearly they hate Russell Simmons
Mm-hmm.
because of a lot of stuff they talk about on Check Your Head.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is, and I heard that Russell Simmons was saying that Rick Rubin that they were not very likable once they got out there and actually started promoting the record. Because they were just college kids too. and they were just like, "Oh, we're gonna manipulate you." So I did know some of that, and I know I read a great deal of it after MCA died because I was heartbroken by that, and I just went back and read a lot about what they went through, you know, in the older days. But I don't think I knew all of that at all. So yeah, I would like to watch that if I ever get the chance. But
Rest in
I
peace,
don't have.
MCA.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and another thing. Me cut you off, but another thing. They have vowed never to perform again without
Mm-hmm.
MCA. So you've
Yep.
never seen them perform. Even when they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they didn't perform, and that's how. So once again, you said these guys were friends. They weren't just dudes who just got put together and became a group. These guys love each other. You know what I mean? And they have vowed never to perform again, without MCA. So the Beastie Boys, as we know it, are dead. That as a
Right.
group, So we'll never get any more original music from them. I don't think.
And why would you want it?
Yeah,
Beastie Boys were the three guys.
yeah.
It's not those two. They could do more, but it just wouldn't be the same.
No, it wouldn't.
And you know, I thought it was fascinating that MCA actually put it in his will that you wouldn't be hearing Beastie Boys songs in commercials and movies and stuff.
Yep.
Now I think they broke that maybe twice for whatever reason,
Star Trek.
but hmm?
Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah.
But and I would like to know exactly the reason for that. Maybe because they love Star Trek, but uh, other than that, I don't. You really won't hear Beastie Boys in a commercial, and they did one time. Some company used one of their songs without permission, and they got sued hardcore. So I always thought that was fascinating that they actually care about respected his wishes and everything. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times these groups when they have somebody in the group die, um, they're like, we may not be making music anymore, but we're going to keep living off of royalties coming from commercials and licensing our stuff. And I'm glad they're not doing that.
Agree.
But that is about all that I have to say about that.
Yeah, like I said, man, these dudes, once again, their lives and what they've meant to music and hip hop, it goes so much deeper than just the music itself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what makes these guys even more fascinating. I love these dudes, man. I love them. I love them.
Yeah.
So if you're out there listening, Ad Rock, Mike D, love you guys, man. You guys really are a part of the fabric of my musical life. You know what I mean? Just like Prince is like Prince is the soundtrack of my life. You're part of that soundtrack of my life as well. So yeah, three white dudes from Manhattan, who just fell into hip hop and became legends, and that's the Beastie Boys. So what do you think? Have you ever listened to License to Ill? And if you have, did you listen to it in the same way that we listened to it? Did you dig into the minutia of what these dudes are all about? And if so, do you agree that these songs are damn near perfect, and that this record contains at least 7 masterpieces? And if you don't, why? Chime in, subscribe. I'm back, by the way. So I've been going for a minute, but I'm back. And one day I'll explain why I was gone for so long. But then again, it's none of your fucking business. But that being said, please subscribe. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So I know I kind of broke it down a little bit, but I'm back. And once again, I will continue to bring you content, hopefully on a more frequent basis. We are jumping into 2022, so I got a lot of shit on my plate. But once again, I will continue to try to provide you with that, you know, with that content that you come to recognize me for, all that good stuff. So that being said, what do you think about License to Ill, Beastie Boys, one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time? Hit me up. Let me know what you think, because you just heard what Lonzo thinks. Bye.